All right, I had to do an errand real quick, but we are back. So I'm gonna do, I guess, to be honest, functions and variables are not gonna be an issue. Um, it's just gonna be cleaning up stuff. We'll just learn it once we get to like, okay, we can define the functions, like define that. Um,
Me, main function on line 2, I'm defining my variable called name and assigning it the return value to not have a side effect per se, but actually, it seems, is actually call my main function.
and these dot 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 is like it just instantly taps. It just hides it. Like you tab in once you set the function, like define, like whatever function name, and this is what your input is. Okay, so we're gonna do the homework, the problem sets. So I think the best way of me doing this would be so you have the before you begin. So execute command cd by itself in your terminal window. You should find that your terminal's window prompt resembles the below. So the dollar sign. Okay, the dollar sign. Next, execute to make a folder called indoor in your code space. Okay, so mk directory, what we saw earlier, so you just make it could be like BBC, it could be just whatever name, this is a folder. And you'll see, oh, okay, we have a folder right here on the top left. Then execute cd indoor to change directories in that folder. You should now see terminal prompt as indoor/s. Okay. Cd indoor. All right, we see that. Should now see now can execute indoor Python. What's that do? To change directories. Okay, into that folder. So everything goes into that folder, and then okay, code. Code equal pi, and it will create. So what it's saying is that it's going to create a file. Just we're going to create a folder. What we did, and then we're going to make sure that what we put in that folder, when we have that code, which is creating the file, the name of that thing, and it's going to be in Python, and it will go into the folder. That's why. Yeah, see. So it's just like your graphical interface. You will have that. Okay. Run your program with hello. Well, okay. I'm gonna clear it. I cleared it, so type in clear. So we're gonna type in. Here's how to test your code. And the indoor prompt in your terminal. So we have the indoor prompt. Run your code with indoor prompt. Okay. Python indoor. So another thing, what we mentioned is that the tab. So it can read the tab. If you just press tab, it can automatically fill it out. Python indoor py. Oops. Python. Okay. Stop talking. Stop. All right. Let's Google this because I'm having trouble. CM 50 Python problem set 0. See, there's someone.
What we're gonna do, before we begin, okay, so here I already opened up my Visual Studio Code in online, okay.
Okay.
So let's do the first step. So here we're gonna execute mkdir indoor. So we're gonna create a directory with the name code of the problem, all right, indoor, and then we have to enter in this directory. If you take a look in here, we have this directory in here without any file yet. So to enter our terminal in here, we're gonna do cd indoor, all right, and we're going to do here this code indoor.py. So we're going to create a new file that will have this name indoor.py. So code indoor.py. Okay, and if you take a look here, it opened up for us. All right, this is it for now. So let's start understanding what we have to do. So basically we're going to ask the user for a message and we're gonna convert this into lowercase. Let's see this demonstration here. We have here hello world all capital and our code will return hello world all lower. Okay, so let's understand first the input function. Basically, the function input allows us to ask questions to the user, and the answer that the user typed in we can store in a variable. For example, if we want to ask the name of the user, we can do username equals to input, what's your name? And it will be prompt in the terminal. The user can write his name. If the user types in Giovanna, the variable username will store Giovanna. Since the answer is stored in a variable, we can use this answer in our code. So now that we understood how the function input works, let's start adding here the first line of code, okay? So here we're going to ask message to user, okay? And to do this, like I said before, we have to create a variable, all right, to store. So we can create a variable msg, for example, for message. And we're going to use the function input. So the variable message will store whatever the user type in, okay? The answer of the input will be stored in this message function. And here we can leave this input empty, all right, with no argument. Or here, like he's saying in the last sentence, you're welcome, but not required to pass an argument to input. So in my case, I'm gonna pass like, what would you like?
Implement a program that prompts the. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay, let's just do what she says. Oh, that's a bit. All this was just bullshit. All this was just BS. Like how to test. Okay.
To say, for example. Okay, so if we test in here, like Python indoor.py, we're going to see here in the terminal we have what would you like to say. If I say Giovanna, nothing happens because we're not printing anything. So right now it's appearing this message for us, okay? And I'm gonna put an empty space here so it's not so next to each other, okay? So this is the first part. We're already getting the message from the user. So now we have to print in
Python. Python. What would I like to say? Hello, B. See, okay, okay, yeah. So the whole point of this exercise, write it. Implement a program that prompts the user for input that outputs the same in lowercase.
lower case, okay? So how can we print in lowercase? Let's understand how the lower function works. If we take a look at the documentation that CS50 gave to us in the notes, we can see here that this is this docs.py.org, so we can see all the documentation about Python in here. And if we search for lower, the function lower, we can use here with a string, so it's string.
Bro, this is already so hard, man. Fuck.
Dot lower and parentheses, all right, because this is a function. And what this function does, return a copy of the string with all the cased characters converted to lowercase. So basically, if we have a variable x equals to hello, all capital, and we want to print this variable all in lowercase, we can do x dot lower parentheses, and the result will be hello, all lower, all right?
Okay. Oh, she's talking about this link. So you press this one, second one, you will have string methods, and then you should have a lower. Returns true if, yeah, returns a copy of the string with all the k. Okay, makes sense.
So let's implement this in our code. Well, so let's implement this using the following. We're gonna print, okay, because we wanna print the output, and we're gonna use the variable instead of x, in our case will be msg for message, where we are storing the answer of the.
All right, okay, cool. Print message.
User, okay, and we're gonna use the function dot lower open and close parentheses, okay? We need to use this way. So let's try it out. Let's see if it's working. So if I do python indoor.py, and if I put hello all capital, it converts to hello all lower. If I ask again, then I put this is CS50, it will return us this is CS50 all lower. And you can play around, you can put anything like A1, B2, C, exclamation mark, and it will convert only the letters. It won't change the characters or numbers. Alright, so now let's do the CS50 check, okay? And we're gonna see that everything works fine. So, like I said, I just ran here the check 50 and we got everything green. So this means that we are correct in our solution. All right, so if you like this content, please give us got everything green. Everything works fine. So like I said, I just ran here the check 50 and we got everything green. So this means that we are correct in our solution. All right, so if you like this content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We're gonna have more videos about CS50 Python, so if you want to take a look after you finish your
Okay. I just copied what you wrote here. Okay, that was cool.
Are you interested in if you would like to have full support from I put here one path that you have. This terminal does not allow us to do Ctrl V or Command V. Click Add SSH. Just hit. So now this is loaded.
Oh dang, there's a whole doors closed for.
And let's start styling our code space here. Okay, sometime in the future we're gonna see better how it works, but right now at this part of the video, let's just understand the part of when prompt to save the key, just hit enter without typing anything. So I copy this command and I'm gonna paste in here. So to paste, CS50, this terminal does not allow us to do Ctrl V or Command V. So you can right click in your mouse, okay? And we're gonna say allow. Then click in your mouse file. In the future, we're gonna see better how it works, but right now at this part of the video, let's just understand the part of the terminal. Okay, execute this. Let's execute this command. When prompt to save the key, just hit enter without typing anything. So I copy this prompt to save the key, just hit enter without typing anything. So I copy this command and I'm gonna paste in here. So to paste, CS50, this terminal does not allow us to do Ctrl V or Command V. So you can right click in your mouse, okay? And we're gonna say allow. Then you can click enter. And it will generate a public private key and enter file in which you wanna save. Here, it's just telling us to click enter, the save key. So I'm just gonna click enter and our mouse, okay? And we're gonna say allow. Then you can click enter and it will
Wait, hold up.
generate a public private key and enter file in which you wanna save. Here, it's just telling us to click enter, the save key. So I'm just gonna click enter. Enter, oops, let's see. You will be prompted for a passphrase. If you only use your GitHub account for CS50, no need to input a passphrase, just hit enter. Otherwise, input a passphrase that you won't forget, then hit enter, then input it again, then hit enter. For security's sake, you won't see that what you type. You will then see a random marked image that you can ignore. I'm gonna just click enter because I'm just gonna use my GitHub for CS50. So here you just need to click enter. Okay, enter same passphrase again. Here we're gonna click enter again because we don't have a passphrase. Okay, so the key random smart image is this one. All right, this is the key. Let's see what we're gonna do. Execute blah blah blah. You will see your public.
I'm just following this how to execute your thing, because that was in it.
And the world found commands are type the same. And now, but now notice there's not just hello.py, but a folder or directory called ls after clicking enter and enter in. Hitting enter means I want to move it into my main folder. Well, like on Mac OS or Windows, I could click on the file here, farewell.py, and just kind of drag it up or down to put it where I want.
Key, multiple lines of seemingly random text. Highlight and copy all of those lines starting with SSH to the end. But don't highlight your terminal window prompts which contain the $sign before or after. Okay, so first let's try to do this command. So again, right click and click enter. This is circle. Try to do this command. To the end. But don't highlight your terminal window prompts which contain the $sign before or after. Okay, so first let's try to do this command. So again, right click and click enter. This is the key that we're gonna use. So we're gonna copy everything until this SSHRSA. So I'm gonna do Ctrl C. Okay, And now visit GitHub settings key, log in your GitHub username and password as usual. Don't use the passphrase you just created, if any. So now we're gonna open up GitHub again using this hyperlink, and what we need to do, login. Okay, so now click new SSH key. Let's click in this new SSH key. All right. Paste your public key into the text box under key. Optionally input a title under title. So we don't need to paste anything here in the title, and here we're going to paste what we copy in the terminal. Let me copy again because I think I wasn't able to copy. Let me see again. Okay, I was able to copy. I just highlight everything and I use the right click, okay? So in here, paste blah blah blah. I'm gonna paste everything. Okay, click add SSH key. Let's click add SSH key. Now let's see the next step. Click execute this in our terminal. Okay, let's execute this in our terminal. So I'm gonna right click in here and click enter. The authenticity of the, okay, let's execute this in our terminal. So I'm gonna right click add SSH key. Now let's see the next step. Click execute this in our terminal. Okay, let's execute this in our terminal. So I'm gonna right click in here and click enter. The authenticity of host blah blah can be established. This key is not known by other names. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? Let's see what they tell us. Enter yes and press enter if you see this following prompt. This is exactly what we saw. So we're gonna say yes. In here, this is the same message. We're gonna say yes and click enter. And then they are telling, hi Giovanna, blah, 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 you've successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. And let's see if this is the message we're, yes, this is the same message we are waiting. You should be greeted with perfect. If you don't see that, review the steps above. So basically in here, we are connected, okay? So now we're able to start coding, okay? In here, and in the future we can really check if we're having access. So if you free one question in this part, you click here in extensions, Loom, and it will load here the tab to start recording and in our own Loom. So you can allow using the computer, all right?
All right, I'm done. Thanks you. Okay, next one.
Want, but let's move. So instead of typing farewell, click on farewell.py in my file explorer, control click or right click, and then select delete, or but here again, the goal is to focus on this command line interface instead. All right, notice there's not just, what can I do with space? I could click on the folder. But let me do this now in my terminal window. Convention, click on the fold space, see that your prompt changed. There's still a dollar
you can come here to our channel. Alright? So I hope you enjoy this content. Are you interested in learning? If you would like to hire me if you want to know about more the career. This video here we or even right on the so here so in we can start answer in our code.
But by convention, and this is a CS50 files. Well, you know what? Let's never mind with farewell.py. Let's go ahead and make a directory here with make. Well, there's still a dollar. Hierarchically here, the farewell.py is now inside of this folder. Now, suppose this is a mistake and I didn't mean to do that. What can I do? Well, let me close the tab here, even without writing any code. And down in my terminal window, let me do this. I'm going to type ls to confirm that, yep, farewell.py exists there. But suppose I want to move it
indoor.py is there.
into my main folder. Well, like on Mac OS or Windows, I could click on the file here, farewell.py, and just kind of drag it up or down to put it where I want. But let's move it. Not rename it this time, but move it using that same mv command instead. I want to move farewell.py to the parent folder. In the world of files and folders, you can think of things like a family tree. And if you want to go up hierarchically, you want to go into the parent folder, so to speak, whereas folder is conversely a child of the default folder in which we began. So I want to move farewell higher up. How do I express that? Well, another piece of syntax in a command line interface is typically this, ... is a symbolic representation of whatever the parent directory is, no matter what its name is. In this case, it's my own default folder. Doesn't even matter what its name technically is. It's not pictured on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter and watch what happens at top left in the graphical version of the same. We should see that farewell.py now pops out of the folder, and the indentation changed to imply that it's not inside of the folder now. It's alongside hello.py. Indeed, if I close the folder here, I don't see a difference because there's nothing in there as well. Let me type ls to confirm in my terminal window. There's nothing in folder. Let me now go back to my parent directory. And I can do this in different ways. And like with programming itself, there's going to be many ways sometimes that you can navigate a command line interface. Here's one. I can do cd for change directory, and then space ... to go back to the parent directory. But another technique, especially if you're a little less comfortable with this whole new world, is whenever in doubt, if you want to go back to your default directory in which you began when you logged in, just type cd with nothing after it and hit enter, and you'll be whisked away back to the start.
All right, yeah. So you just type in cd to get back. Okay, clear. CD back. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. CD to reset. All right, we have these code spaces. Okay, now we can begin making a directory. All right, let's just try this myself. Okay. Some people have a habit of speaking. The file called playback implement a program that prompts the user for input. Prompts user, again, so you have to prompt. This is right. How do you create a file? Is it like code playback? Awesome. Okay. So where I code implement, this is just, if you write asterisk, it's just Put place space with 3 dots. Okay. Okay. MKDIR. Cool. Okay. Right. Let's go to string. So, okay, I'm kind of getting the homework. Let's do this myself. Figure it out. Is there a way to replace or add? I'm just gonna go. Close this extra window. No, I don't want this. Alright, I'm just gonna do the bathroom. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom to find it. Alright, I'm back. No. Okay. 0 place. Yeah, okay, so let's replace old, new, count. Okay. And import. Okay, so we say old. This is the old function because we're gonna old. So we just say playback. Okay. Welcome.
We are still, if we type in this is, let's try it out. So the new message, okay? So let's try it out. So if we do python playback.py, and if we type in this is CS50, now we have the 3 periods.
Okay, I'm watching the Python. Oh, bitches. Yeah, put out hello bitches. Right, so now we need to new is equal to old dot replace. What's the first argument? Old new. Okay. We'll replace space with that. So we run it, and then print it. Okay. Okay, it's asking me my mama. This is my mama is my papa. Okay, it works. Cool. Okay, is my papa. Sweet. Old Leroy, and there's a Python. And this way you do your input. So you input and CS50 is something. Cool. It works. All right. How do we test it now?
And see if it's working. So if we take a look at here, we took all green, so this means that our code is working. So if we take a look
Check. Where are you? Okay, so you just have to copy this. Copy. Right click. Pause. Have it on. Get all the under control. So number one, in a file called faces.py, implement a function called convert. All right. C for cleared. Awesome. MK faces. MKPIR. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, CD faces goes to that. Okay. CD change directory to faces. Okay, I'm in the faces. Code faces. All right, cool. Change directory. Change directory indoor. Indoor. Okay. Let me just right click to copy to paste. All right, change directory. reality is that I can find a job. So, middle function accepts a string. Let's see. Hello. Be sure to call main. Right, so in a file called base.py, let's read this. Implement a function called convert that accepts a string as input. It returns the same input with any smiley face converted to smiley face, otherwise known as slightly smiling face, and any sad face converted to sad face, otherwise known as slightly frowning face. All other text should be returned unchanged. So smiley face, just emojis, all right. Then in the same file, implement a function called main that prompts the user for input, cause convert. Okay, and print the result. And you're welcome but not required to prompt the user explicitly by passing a string as argument to input, but be sure to call the main. Okay. Hint, recall that input returns a string. Cool. Recall that comes with quite a few methods. An emoji is just a character. So quite like any string, and you can copy and paste the emoji from this page into your own code as needed. Okay. There's a convert. Has to be convert. Doesn't just replace. So okay, so number one, have a main. What did I do? Main.
Look in here, we took all green, so this means that our
You know what? I'm fucking tired. I'm gonna take a rest. Alright. I'll take a long break. Oh. I'm just. Oh. Alright, I'm back. I'm back after a recharge of the shit. Alright, let's do this. I'm trying to think. Could it be just replies? Okay, I'm trying to think. So let's say smile. Input we don't know. Struct input and then main one. Um, okay, how do I change this? All right, let's just go to the check.
Hi everyone, my name is Giovanna Proença, and today we're going to talk about unchanged. The result is input, parentheses to a result, and that's it. This is it for our main function. Now let's to this convert function, okay? And in the end, we're gonna print the result. So here, print result, and that's it. This is it for our main function. Now let's work with the convert, okay? So the convert, we are seeing here two words, right? The same word in two times. So phrase. Emoji. We're gonna use the replace method. Let's see how the replace method works. The sad or happy emoji. We're gonna use the replace method. bananas, and we want to replace, in our case, apple. We're not gonna, all right? So how are we going to replace the colon? Parentheses, right? So this is the first input that we have to add in our method. And the second input will be another string, okay? But what will be this string? If we take a look here, if we click in this hyperlink, we're gonna see this page here. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna copy
that one.
this.
No wonder. Okay. We have to go to the hyperlink. Okay. The function that prompts the user for input. Create a function main that uses input pause convert on that input. Fine. Smiley face, so you should get a smiley face. Copy, right. What was the expression they use? Right. Face. Smiley face. Face. Slightly. Right. Python. Face stuff. Yeah. What is not working? Alright.
Start.
Now we're gonna have convert types in name of the name. If the inside the and that's dot replay, all right? Thread in. And if we paste in here, we're gonna see emoji, all right? So I'm gonna create a message for Python faces true. Return at the happy and to making faces requirement. We have here this link in our code. Okay, so we have the happy the colon in this hyperlink. We're gonna see this page here. And what we're taking, we're gonna look here. If it would be another string, okay, we're gonna see in here. We're gonna see the what we're gonna do. We're gonna place the colon parentheses true. This create a message. The message one has this replacement, all right, the result of changing the happy emoji. So we're gonna do message one dot replace.
Oh, yeah, I'm just watching this right now. The problem set 0 making faces solution. Python. Alright, cool. By Doors Coding School.
And now what do we want to replace? We want to replace the colon parentheses, but now making a sad face, and we want to replace to this happy to this sad emoji. So if we go here again to making faces requirement, we have here this link that gets us to this page where we can copy the sad emoji. And we're gonna paste in our code. Okay, so we have the happy and the sad emoji. And finally, what we wanna return? We wanna return after all these changes. Okay, so we're gonna return the message
Alright, this is
true. Okay, so let's test. If I do this, if I do this face turn, we want to return. Okay, so let's test. If I do here python faces.py, and if I type in hello with a happy face, it will return as hello with the emoji of a happy face. If I do this again, but with a sad face, hello and a sad face, it will return us to an emoji. And what if we want to do both emojis in our page? We can use hello happy for the making faces problem. The colon we're gonna do this. These apples, and our string txt will become I like apples. Colon parentheses. In this case, the function convert that we're just created. We're gonna create. And
so put equals put in result.
And like we saw here, we have to pass a message as a parameter. So we're gonna pass our variable msg to this convert function, okay? And in the end, we're gonna print the result. So here, print result, and that's it. This is it for our main function. Now let's work with the convert, okay? So the convert
Let's see equals
Start, we are seeing our main function. In this case, the replaces as txt equals replace inside the word that we like. We're not gonna change parentheses for a message one, okay? Place parentheses, right? Input will be another string input that we have to add in our parentheses, right? So this is the first input that we have to add in our method, and the second input will be another string, okay? But what will be this string? If we take a look here, if we click this emoji in this line, we're gonna true this, create a message true, and instead of replacing the message variable, we're gonna replace the message one, because the message one has this replacement, all right? The result of changing the happy emoji. So we're gonna do message one dot replace, and now what do we want to replace? We want to replace
Okay, so run it. Python bases. Python bases. Line 12 changes. Oh, indeed. So first one we're going to test is hello. Awesome. Back here, Python. Why are we converting? Right. ChatGPT. Alright, let's get ChatGPT. It is shit out for me. Let's play this. Pause this. Third function returns. Oh, okay. Cool. So ChatGPT, bro. Pass another function. Cool. Alright, I think I'm done with this training. Right, we're done. Next, I'll take a 15-minute break. Oh man, I'm so tired. Alright, we'll do the next one. Alright, we're gonna do the Einstein one, next one in the public sector. Back in 15 minutes. Let's be back. Let's do this. Mobile. All right. 25 minutes. Should I grab food? No. I'll have a soup. I'll have a soup real quick. Wait. Let me get you soup real quick. Mm. Oh.
I took CS50 last year and it changed my life. This course is good for two types of people. The first, people who are students who maybe are going to college now and they want to get a head start into learning the fundamentals of computer science so that when they get to college, they're better prepared for their classes. And the second group of people is people who are looking to grow professionally and change maybe their career path and learn how to code and get a job. People who are maybe older, like me. I was like this last year. I took CS50 and eventually I was able to get hired just after taking CS50. So if you're looking for a course that's going to teach you the fundamentals of computer science in a correct sequence without getting you stuck in tutorial hell, without starting one thing and not finishing and then going to another language and not finishing. If you want to learn the fundamentals from the ground up, literally from how does a computer store data all the way to like how do you make a full stack application, take CS50. It's the best investment that you can make for yourself in 2023. This course teaches you how to code, meaning it's not necessarily teaching you everything you need to know about JavaScript or everything you need to know about Python. Rather, it teaches you how to think like a computer scientist. So it teaches you how to use logic, how to use basic math, how to think. Smart, how to write code that works. And these are all skills that you could really transfer across different languages. Many languages have, concepts of a loop and a variable and conditionals, etc., right? And data structures and algorithms. These are concepts that exist in most languages, if not all. And so CS50 really empowers you to understand what these main concepts are. And it also teaches you, how can I transfer these skills to another language that maybe I haven't learned about? And I've seen in my own job now that concepts such as regular expressions, which the course touches upon a little bit, I was able to pretty much transfer that knowledge over to my current job into using very advanced Excel functions. Now, do they teach Excel in the course? No, they don't. But because I knew about regular expressions, I went and I looked up the documentation for Excel and transferred over those concepts to basically a new language that I didn't learn about in the course. But the course teaches you how to do that. They teach you how to go into documentation, and they teach you how to help yourself figure things out. And this is the main benefit of the CS50 method. You learn by doing rather than just by watching a video and learning the theory. The theory is great. The lectures are great. I honestly had to watch some of the lectures a few times to really understand the concepts. But the real learning happened when I was stuck on code that was not working. And I had to go all over the internet and figure out, where is the bug? Why is my code not working? And that just shows that if you really want to learn, you have to put in the work. You have to debug. You have to get stuck with problems, and you have to figure out how to get out of those problems. That's where the real learning happens. And it's not just that you just learn the concept and now you know it very well. No, it's like ingrained in you now. So even though I took the course about 6 months ago, most of the concepts, I still know them very well, and I'm able to use them day to day. The course is a big investment in terms of time. Obviously, it's free to take, so that's it. And you should be aware of that, if I myself to only learn via a graphical interface, the homework for this week should be fairly easy. And guys, just do the minimum required in order to pass the homework. Don't come now and create a crazy app. No, that's not what you need to do. You just need to fulfill the minimum requirements, read them well, read them twice, and move on to the next week. Week 1, C. C is an awesome programming language. It's mainly used in embedded applications. The course covers most of C actually, and this week's homework is fairly straightforward. A little hint, just do a loop within a loop. Week 2, arrays. Arrays are a very essential data structure, and so in the homework this week, you learn how to iterate between arrays. Week 3, algorithms. You're gonna go deeper into C and how to create your own algorithms. The homework is very cool. Actually, this week has, in my opinion, the hardest homework of the entire course. Tideman, I ended up spending a lot of time trying to figure out, and then I did not figure it out, and I ended up submitting Runoff, which was the easier version that they let you submit for the week. Week 4, memory. Here you learn how to use pointers. Very essential in the C language. Where is the data stored? How do you point to that data? How do you retrieve that data?
Week 5, data structures.
week, you learn how to make your own struts, which will be very helpful for when you start programming in Python, because there is a similarity between struts and classes. 6, Python. To me, this was the week I was looking forward the most. I have heard so much about Python over the last couple of years. When I took the course, the homework was a bit much for me. So I actually ended up taking CS50's Python course. So I got probably around halfway through over there, and then I was able to complete the Python section of the CS50. It was around at this point in the course where I decided to start applying for jobs. I felt like I was really becoming a computer scientist. I started to feel comfortable talking to people about it and explain to them concepts that I didn't even know existed a couple weeks ago. So when you take the course, when you get to Python, remember, it's time to start putting a CV together, start sending it out, apply for jobs. Week 7, SQL. I don't think SQL is a programming language per se. It's more of a way to store data in databases, and you then write Python code in order to manipulate that data. So what you really learn in this week is how to use the database, what the commands are to input data, output data. Week 8, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So in this week, you actually may learn how to make a website. Now, HTML, CSS, I don't consider that actual programming language, meaning there's no real logic as in, as there is in Python. It's just a way to make your, to format a website, format some content, style it, and then put it online. And for this week's homework, I made myself a personal website to showcase my CV and my personal projects. And I used that together with the CV in order to apply for jobs. Week 9, Flask. I actually really like Flask. It's basically a Python framework for running logic in the backend. So when you build an app, you have the website in the front, showing the user whatever information it is, and in the back you have some Python code, you have a database.
All right, let's get started. I think my weaknesses are just like loops and arrays and all that stuff. So, hang on. Where is my code? Code. All right, so he wants me to make Okay, cool. Now we can make that work. So terminal, awesome. So cd just for value right now. Wonder why. cd Dude, why is it so laggy? Change it to Einstein. Code Einstein. Oh, so it creates a little file called that's created. Awesome. So if I include a program that prompts the user Python and outputs. Okay, so we're gonna have E squared Run your Python with python.py type 1 in terminal, and it should pop up 9 million 14. Oh, let's do it again. Cool. Awesome. Change. The next one. Change directly to the unsigned folder. Oh, it's already uploaded. Here. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go CD back to normal. And then we'll go to the Einstein one. Tip calculator. And now for my wizard tip calculator. More disciple. In the United States, it's customary to leave a tip for your server after dining, typically in an amount equal to 15% or more. Not to worry though, we've written a tip for you below. We've written most of it. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to implement two functions. Okay. Dollars to float. It must be complete percent to float. Dollars to float, which should accept a string as input formatted as dollar blah, where each asterisk, where each value is a decimal digit. Removing the dollar, leaving dollar, and return the amount as a float. For instance, oh, that's what float does. Percent to float should accept a string as input. remove the trailing percentage, returns the percentage as a float. It's 15%, it's 50. Okay. So yeah. What is f dash dash d? ChatGPT. Right. So plus dot float. $dollars. Does f f string in Python. The f before the leaf indicates that it's a formatted string literal, also known as f string in Python. An f string allows you to include expressions, in this case the values of the tip variable, include inside code braces within the string. These expressions are evaluated at runtime and replaced with their corresponding values. In the given code, the f before leave $tip tells Python to treat this as a formatted string literal and to replace tip to f. Right, tip calculator. Now let's cd mk tip. We'll change directory to tip the folder, and then we'll change tip dot y. Okay. I'm just following this before you begin. Okay. So once you copy paste the code above, so I'll copy and paste. Float. Yeah, float is so essentially float, what it does is that it converts a number. So integers is just like whole numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And float, what it does is that it converts that into decimals. So you can use decimals in numerical numbers like $10.40, $10 like $10.50, $10.90, $8.70, and all that stuff. So I think I know what he wants. Convert string to float. We should input and remove the dollar, leading dollar, and return the amount as a float. Take a 5-minute break. That's what you should probably set 0 today. Move on to the next conditionals. Okay. All right, let's start. All right, let's transfer. Now, dollars to float. So you always have to return, like, make sure that you return the variable in a function. Okay, now, what does this say? Test it. All right, how to test? Run your program python tip.py, type $50 and then 15% to enter, please enter. Your output should be 750. Python tip.py. Is it meals? $50. $50. Oh. Python tip. Oh, whoops. Python. Yep. You know what? Fuck you. I'm just gonna check it. Okay. Right click. Hmm. Okay.
We're back. Prove this code where dollars inserted set dollar value and the cent and the set cent. Let me just see what the chick did. Those. Problem is that I have to
Everyone, my name is Giovanna.
remove it.
Which should accept a string as input, format as $sign, two numbers, dot, two other numbers, so two that variable called percent, and we are storing this percent variable the result of a function called percent to float, and we're going to implement this function as well. And what is the argument? Okay, once we have the value of dollars and percent, the tip will be calculated doing a multiplication between them, and then we're going to print how much will be the tip multiplication between. Let's see the implementation. Well, we've written most of a tip calculator for you. Work is float, doing some changes depending on the case. All right, this is strings into a float, doing here in our. All right, this is float. So okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to remove the $sign. Okay, so do you see here that we're gonna receive here as input a $sign. We're gonna receive, for example, $sign $50. So the first thing we have to do here is replace this $sign to nothing. We have to remove this $sign. So how are we gonna do this? Before we start, let's see this replace method. The replace method bananas with the new gonna use d, the name of the variable. This is the name of the variable we want to replace, and we're gonna use the replace method. In the case that we saw in the animation, we want to replace bananas to apples. In our case, we want to replace the $sign to nothing. So we're gonna create an empty space. How can we do this? So the first argument here is .py, and I put here the number, but it's returning as float. So if we want to change the type of the variable, we have to call a function that will be the name of, and let's see, instead of here being t.replace,
equals replace d dot replace d dot replace d dot replace $sign t2 returns dollars to float. And yep. Float divided by percent of float. P2 percentage. So we clear it. Right, tip. Which is Python tip dot nil percentage 10%. Leave 750. And let me see if that's right. So, yep, $50, 15%. Your program output should be 50. Okay. Now we need to look for $100. So yeah, it says $100. Same thing, 18%. Program should be 18%. Right, let's do that. So you press the up button to go back to whatever the function. All right, $100. 18%. Cool, leave $18. Awesome, that's good. Oh, fuck. 5%, and it should be 375. Awesome. Cool. That means blah. All right, submit. And then we get the submit thing. Where is it? Come on. Woo! All right. Okay, hang on. Light up. So just to summarize, this is the code, and what we need to do is that because they're trying to enter $50, we need to get rid of the dollar sign, the replace function. I mean, there is like the other one where you could remove the first character. I think that's what they did. And then they removed the last one. I think that's cool. Right. ChatGPT, man. ChatGPT fucking saves lives. Okay. Cool. 6 minutes. Alright, I'm gonna do a 5-minute break before the thing. You know what? Recess it. And note. 56 minutes. 25, let's say. New task. Done. Delete. This one is going to be conditionals. Okay. Week 1 conditionals. And that's going to be 3. Okay. Alex, I'll do that tomorrow. Alex project. Alright, let's just take a short break and then we'll do Alex the project. Right. Alright, let's do the data analyst project.
What's going on, everybody?
Yep. So we're gonna do Alex project, so that'll take us. So I should message my friend. Okay, Alex project is this. So let's just write a note. We're gonna do is we're gonna spend. Alex the analyst. What a man.
Hello, everybody.
What a man of file explorer.
Today, we're going to be creating an automatic file sorter for your files in File Explorer. Now, out of all the projects that we've done in this series so far, I think this one might be the most difficult, but I also think this one is the most cool because it has some real life applications. So without further ado,
Alright, new.
let's take a look at some files that we have right down here in my File Explorer. So I have this beautiful picture of Rosie right here. This is a PNG file. I have a CSV file and a text file. And I want to sort all of them into their own folders, depending on what kind of file it is. So if I go right in here and I click on this one, I go to properties, I can see that this is a PNG file. If I go into this one, I don't need to, but if I go into this one, it's a CSV file.
Wait, do I have anything like that? Maybe we can do the documents. I guess we could do that. Clean that up. Cool. We could do that. Okay. So
And of course, this one is a text file. So I want three.
can we do that in the download section? Yeah, we could do that in the download section. Just check what we need and what we don't. Yeah, oh, that'll be good. PDFs, imagine your download section, PDFs, icons, and just clean it up. Awesome.
Separate folders in here, and I want them to automatically go into those folders without me having to drag and drop and going and clicking. Now, we only have 4 files here, but imagine if we have thousands of files, how much time that could save us. So let's get out of here and let's start writing our code. So we're going to say import OS comma, and then we're going to say shut IL. Now, OS obviously stands for operating system. Shut IL, I don't know what it's actually supposed to stand for, but what it will allow us to do is do some high-level operations on our files in File Explorer. So we're going to go ahead and import those. And now that we have those imported, something that's going to be very important for us to have throughout this whole thing, and this is anytime I'm working with like directories or something like this, we want to get this path down. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this path. And we're just going to say,
Yeah, okay. Let's do the job apps. Yeah, let's do the job apps. Copy.
path is equal to, and we'll do this right here. So let's run this. And I need to put an R right here to make this a raw text. So when you don't have the R, it's going to read in these, these backslashes and these colons and different stuff. If we do R, it's just going to read it in as the raw string, and that's what we want. So here's what we need to do. There's a few different things that have to happen when we are writing this out. One thing is we need to go in here and we need to see this path, and we need to see, are there folders in here already? If not, we need to create a folder. So that's one of the first things that we need to do. The next thing that we need is it needs to check each of these files individually, identify what kind of file it is, and then put it into the correct folder. So we have to create the folder, then check these, and then place it into the correct folder. So let's go right out of here. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start working with these paths and these directories. And some of these things you may never have seen before, but that's okay. I'll try to explain it as I go through. So the first thing that we're going to write is os.list directories. And what this is actually going to do is show us all the files in there. We're going to say path. And so it should show us all the files within path. And so here are our results. So we have the data professional results, fake text file, our image, and our other image. So this is actually showing us what files are in that path. And that's super important because we're probably going to have to loop through this in some way later. I wrote this all out before, so I kind of remember, but I'm doing this all off the top of my head. So I guarantee you throughout this, I'll make some mistakes. But what we now need to do is we need to create folders or check if there's a folder and create it if it isn't there. That's the next step that we need to take. So let's go right down here. And we want to check if this path exists already. So if that folder already exists. So we're going to say os.path.exists. So this is going to check, does this path, just like this path up here, does it already exist? And then we're going to do an open parentheses. We'll say path. So that's our path. Now we need to add a folder name to this. We could hard code it. So we could do plus, we could say CSV files. And that could work. So it would say, does this path already exist? And we can try running this. And it's going to say false. So this doesn't already exist. But the thing is we need to create 3 separate paths. So we could do this by just hard coding it in by saying CSV files, image files, and text files. Or we can just put this all in a list and loop through it. I think it's just going to be easier to do that. Or I don't know, visually it's going to be easier. So we'll do folder underscore names, and then we'll say is equal to, and we'll create a list. So I think I want to call it CSV files, comma, image files or PNG files, whatever you want to write. And then we'll do text files. Do text files.
files. Files.
And then we can go right down here, a little for loop. I think what we'll do, well, actually, let's write folder underscore names. Then we can put something like, let's write loop. Why not? So a little trick for the for loop is going to say for, and we'll say loop. And we'll just do a range because we want it to basically go through here. We don't want it to actually give us these file names. We just want it to count 0, 1, and 2. So if we do range from 0 to 2, 0, 0, 1, 2, that should work. If we do this, then when it loops through, it's going to call folder name and say 0, which would be CSV files, image files, and text files. So let's, yeah, I need a colon. Let's run through this really quickly. Shouldn't do anything. But what we can do now is we can say, okay, if this does not exist, what we can do is actually create it. So we'll say if not, so if this does not exist, then what we're going to do is take this and we'll say os.make directory, and then we'll do just like that. I think it's make directory s. I think that's correct. So let's test this out really quickly. Let's see if this works. And invalid syntax, I need a colon. Okay, so I just ran this. Let's see if it did actually make those folders. Let's refresh it. And it didn't. So let's just print this off. So if not, let's just print. Let's see, does this actually work? Let's do if. Okay. Okay, so I think I know what might be happening. I think it's giving us, it may actually be, let's check this really quick. Go to Python tutorials. Oh, no. I think it's creating, yeah, it's creating these Python tutorial images right here. Whoops. Okay, so I just figured it out. Let's go back into Python tutorials. Don't take a look at any of those notebooks. Those are secret. We were creating them in the wrong place. And that's because of this right here. We need a backslash, so we need to actually include a backslash right here. In this path, we didn't have that. EOL, why scanning string literal? Okay, so this backslash could cause an issue. Let's see if I can do forward slashes on all these. Just stick with me, guys. I might cut this out, I might not. We'll see if this is important. Just gonna keep talking while we're doing it. Let's run this. Okay, so now that we're doing these forward slashes, we're still checking. Let's make sure we can still check those files. Good. Now when we loop through this, I'm not going to, well, yeah, I can print it off. Doesn't matter. I'm going to print it and we'll see if that name works. And then we're also going to, well, I said if. So if it exists, then make it. No. So if not, I think the not did make sense. We just weren't sure. We had to do some checking. So if it exists, then we're going to create it. And we'll keep the print in there because it doesn't really matter. So it's going to create the CSV and image, but didn't create the text. Let's see. Okay, let's, I don't know why this would work, but let's run it. Okay. So I think I just had the wrong range. So now we have our images, or we have our folders, all three going to create it, and we'll keep the print in there because it doesn't really matter. So it's going to create the CSV and image, but it didn't create the text. Let's see. Okay, let's, I don't know why this would work, but let's run it. Okay, so I think I just had the wrong range. So now we have our images, or we have our folders, all three folders. Now we need to write a script that will read in these and check and see what kind of file it lists. Then we're going to create it, and we'll keep the print in there because it doesn't really matter. So it's going to create the CSV and image, but it didn't create the text. Let's see. Okay, let's, I don't know why this would work, but let's run it. Okay, so I think I just had the wrong range. So now we have our images, or we have our folders, all three folders. Now we need to write a script that will read in these and check and see what kind of file it is and place it into the correct folder. So let's come right down here and let's see what we need to do. So now I think we need to use this right here. I think we need to loop through this to be able to check each one. So we need to name this. So we'll just do file underscore name is equal to, run that. So now we have this file name. And what we can do is loop through this. So let's say for file in file name. So we're going to loop through this. Now, when it goes through, it needs to check it's going to check the file path, and in the file path, it'll say .txt, .csv. So let's say if, I think it should be .csv. Let's test it on this one. Go, because I may have. So we're going to do PNG. I can include it in here. And I'm going to basically restart it. These are our file names. And then when we run this, it should take our folder names, check through them. If they
I think that's it for today. All right, I'll see you guys on the other side.